Hello and welcome to Special Stage for Round 5 of the 2013 REIS Get Connected MSA Asphalt Championship, the Wilkinson's Maintenance Tyneside stages. For the last 2 years it's been all about this man, Damien Cole. He'll be looking for a repeat performance to keep his championship chase alive.
This year's event sees a few changes to the stages, including some sections not used last time round. So the notes, as always, would be important if the crews were going to stay out of trouble on these unforgiving stages. Despite the need for victory for Cole this weekend, it was also vital that Stephen Simpson and Patrick Walsh got some more points on the score sheet this weekend too. They started as they meant to go on with a lead after the opening stages, but it wasn't without its problems, as we found out at the end of the stage.
80, crest, jump and a dip long into the steam middle of a small crest, 20, 2 right cut, 20, 3 left of a crest in and 2 right flat into mid through post, 550 up mid. Caution crest and
Well, I think we've got a problem with the car that keeps locking up at the back, so we've either done a shaft or the diff's blown itself, so we'll have to wait and see in service.
So for Damien Cole and James Morgan, it would have to be second at this stage. Some good stage times over this loop of stages meant that they managed to stay within a handful of seconds of the rally leaders.
Jump and jump dip. Into crest, keep it in, and chicane into right 4 bales. $60, flat crest. 60, flat crest and flat right in. And flat left, tightens over late crest. And flat right opens over jump, 550. Go on now, come on, go. 550. Keep left of a slow crest at the end, immediate right 4, don't cut at the arrow.
No, Simo beat us on the first one by about 7. We took 1 on the second one, so I'm not sure about the third one. But the car's moving around a lot on the back. I think we need to drop the ride out. It's horrible coming out of junctions, and she's not very stable.
For a change, the weather would be on side for Simon Manger of Brian Cammock. The rain had stayed away for now, but it was punctures that would cause the problems this time round. No time lost in the stages from the slowly deflating tyre, but the spur they had wasn't the right one for the conditions. Not ideal when you're chasing for times at the top.
4 left. Into 3 right, gravel. Into 5 left over crest. 5 right, chicane. Square left over the bridge. Square right. 80. 3 left. Into 5 right, 60. 1 left into 2 right. And 5 left, 40.
And Simon, it's the battle of rear-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive once again. How are you handling it?
Yeah, we're obviously a lot closer to the World Rally cars today. Probably the stages suit us, but we're having a really good battle with John Hindry there. Unfortunately, we just had a punch on the previous stage, so it actually went down after the stage, but we had to change it in dead time. But unfortunately, the tyre we've got isn't the correct tyre, so the car's a bit unstable on that last one. But at least we're into service now, we'll be able to change it.
Last time out on Otterburn was kind to John Hindry, but a win this time out wasn't going to be easy. The competition was strong, especially with the points being needed so much by all. But 4th place was one of the better starts of the season and a good position to start the rest of the day's attack on the leaderboard.
John, dry tarmac, you must be happy, man.
Yeah, much happier. We took the girly safe option, really soft tyre, because there was plenty of damp out, and you just don't know what he's going to do, but I had to baby him a bit, but we're somewhere near the pace. I think Simo's on a mission, but the rest of us are somewhere near a pace, so now he's guessed the tyre choice, isn't it, basically? And I'm really good at that.
For Peter Taylor and Andrew Roughhead, it would be a wrong tyre choice for the stages that stops them finishing the stages any higher up. They do manage 5th place for now and just 6 seconds behind Hindry.
Peter, the weather's been kind to you so far today and the stages look good.
Yeah, they are good. I mean, we've gone on too soft of a tyre. I haven't really looked at any times, but the car's a bit soft as well. There's a bit of setup to do. It's not really good for the high speed stuff, so we'll see how it goes.
For Robert Barrable and Stuart Ludon, it would be a last-minute change from the gravel of Finland to the asphalt of Otterburn. So they would be out to settle in and not to do anything silly ahead of WRC Germany. They end this loop in 6th place.
Robert, fantastic piece of machinery. How's it treating you?
Yeah, very good. We only got the car really finishing the tarmacs back yesterday morning, so we're just trying to bed ourselves in, get used to the level of grip that we have, because we done the last rally we done was Finland, which was gravel, so the transition in grip is quite dramatic.
For Ashley Field and Josh Davison, it was a wrong tyre choice that leaves them in 7th place after stage 3. Just 3 seconds behind Barrable at this stage. The choice for the slippery conditions would need to be reassessed for the next loop of stages.
Seems to be a battle not only of the car setup, but the tyre choice seems to be crucial today as well.
It is. I think we put some medium compound on, which we paid for on the first stage, because it was just a bit halfway through. It was a bit slippy. First bit was all right, but we just dropped some time on the first stage. So then we're going to go for a softer tyre on this next loop and see how we do.
This weekend would be a reminder of what could have been for Simon Chapman and Michael Calvert. Just missing out on the win on the Cheviot last season proved they had the pace on the ranges. 8th overall was a good place to start against the competition.
Simon, you normally go well up here. How are you finding it?
Yeah, that last stage was quite good. We caught the car in front, which is quite an incentive to put your foot down. But I think we took the last crest flat, and it's not. Definitely, it was a big moment. But really enjoyed it. Started to come together on the notes, so we'll keep pressing on.
For Washington James and Paul Hughes, it would be 9th place. 3rd of the Darien crews at this stage, 26 seconds off the pace of Ashley Field. Something wasn't quite right, and the pace would need to be picked up on the next loop of stages. And rounding out the top 10 are Chris Anderson and Chris Thurling, a pair that go well here, leading the front-wheel drive crews, and indeed the only front-wheel drive crew in the top 10.
We've had a good run over them three. The first stage we thought would have been quicker than we were, but weren't really amazing time. Them second two, we've really enjoyed them. I think there'll be a quick time on them. But I hope to beat some four-wheel drives. We'll see how we go.
Unfortunately, we would soon lose Darren Atkinson and Phil Santam. Thankfully for the pair, it would just be a misfire and not an accident like their last visit to the Otterburn regions. We would also lose Rob Tout and Dan Holly. Engine problems right from the start make their trip a long but short one. And we would lose Matt Beebe and Paula Swinsko in stage 1 as their throttle sticks open and they leave the road. In the class battles, we would see a return from Chris Rice and Giles Dykes as Chris puts his ALMC disaster behind him to lead N4 this weekend. And for Julian Barnett and Andrew Smith, it would be second in the class. Some time to gain on the class leaders though. In the B9 class, it would be a lead of over 2 minutes for Howard Moore and Sasha Herriot in the Lotus. A good lead over the Peugeot 205 of Andrew and Reg Irving, who lie 2 minutes back, second in the class. Just the one crew in B10 means it's a run to the finish for Craig Josie and Niall Hewitt in the Peugeot 205. With Chris Anderson leading B11, it would be down to Tim Daltrey and Emma Morrison to take up second place in that class. Just 3 stages in and the results are starting to shape up like this. On to the next loop of stages, a repeat of this morning's 3 stages, and for Stephen Simpson and Patrick Walsh there would be no change, apart from the advantage, now up to 15 seconds for the pair.
Triangle, through post and square right, round Bale, and a tight hairpin left round Bale. 130, Stay mid of a jump grid, flat 80. Care. 1 right of a 2 crest, jumps 40 down. Easy, 6 right through dip cut. Into 3 left. In the stay mid of a crest, and a 5 right through dips cut. In the stay mid of a small crest, 170. Chicane, right entry, 4 bales. Watch a hole on the left on the way out. 40.
Second place, however, would be all change, with Simon Major and Brian Cammack now moving up to take that second place now. And it wasn't without its drama, a moment on stage 5 giving the pair a scare as they almost lose it all by taking this crest a little too quickly this time round.
Into 5 right, into 6 left, 40. 1 left over small crest, 4 right, and big crest jump middle, 60. 2 left, bump into 2 left, 100, chicane. Into 2 right, into crest jump, 40. Caution, 2 left braking over crest jump.
So for Damien Cole and James Morgan, it would be a drop down into third, as well as a number of the crews beating the bogey time and being unable to gain any advantage. The pair also suffer from a couple of overshoots in stage 4 and lose a handful of time in the process. This wasn't looking like a clean run, something which needed to change if things were to improve on the afternoon stages.
100 over jumps, right 1 through dip, tightens over jump. 20, jump into dip, right 2 over jump. 40, right 1. 40, flat right 100. Right 4 minus at sign, tightens over crest. 4 minus at sign, tightens. And left 4, tightens 4 minus. Opens over flat jump. 130 over crests. Turn left 5 at pillar.
And the problems weren't just limited to Cole, as John Indry and Peter James go into this loop with some confidence after their good start and end up having a big moment towards the end of stage 4, lucky to get away with it, and the pair continue in 4th place.
8 right, that was well held. Did we get I don't know. 130. Anyone know? Long hairpin left. Never give up. Long 6 left. Into long hairpin right. Long hairpin right.
No change for Peter Taylor and Andrew Roughhead, which was lucky considering the pair were suffering from a number of small issues. A tyre delaminating in the earlier stages of the loop, and the pair one of many to beat the bogey times in some of the stages. And no change for Robert Barable and Stuart Loudon in 6th, as they continue to bed themselves in and get used to the new car. The pace was showing, but it was going to take a little more time to open it up fully. Unfortunately for Ashley Field and Josh Davison, their luck was about to run out. They leave the road where Simon Major had his earlier moment and are not so lucky to get away with it. So with all the drama at the top, it would be a move into 7th place for Simon Chapman and Michael Calvert in the Metro. Good stage times for the pair were making a good result look likely this weekend. It would also be some improvement for Washington James and Paul Hughes too, as they move up to join Chapman in that 7th place. Identical times overall see the Darien pair sharing the place with the Metro at this stage. Not only were they taking advantage of the problems ahead, but the times were also moving Adrian Spencer and Mark Hewitt up the order and into 9th place now. A good jump up a few places at this stage. For Chris Anderson and Chris Thurling, there wouldn't be any change. Despite all movement, they remain in 10th place and of course the lead of the front-wheel drive cars. They also lie just 1 second behind Spencer at this stage too. Unfortunately, stage 5 would be the end of the road for Sean and Ian Robson. One of the deceptive crests catches the pair out and they roll out of the event and into the river below. Halfway through the event now, and a reminder of the results at this stage.
Steve, 6 stages in. Going okay?
Yeah, going very well at the minute. Just got to keep Damien at bay there. I think we've got a couple of seconds ahead on him. I don't know what he did in the last loop there, but I'm sure we'll find out in a minute or two, so all will be revealed.
You beat the bogey time in 3, and then it sounds like you've done it again in 6.
Yep. We took another one off it in 6 there, so I think quite a few people will do that. You know, there'll be maybe 3 or 4 last time, so I can only imagine there'll be as many, if not more, this time. So.
Simon, it looks like you're going well, but it hasn't been without its dramas, has it?
No, we've been pretty lucky so far. We had a puncture on the first loop of stages there, and the first stage of that second loop, we came over 4 right over a brow a little bit too quick, got airborne, and the road disappeared. So we landed on the grass on the left-hand side and nearly didn't stop until we reached the river at the bottom. So we nearly went for a swim, but we managed to get back on the road, got through that. But then at the last stage, it was a little bit slippy. I think we must have had a shower, so we'd lost maybe a little bit of time, but I think we're all beating a bogey, so I don't think it really mattered. So it's very, very close, I think, at the top. Having a really good battle there with John in the Darien. He's flying, and I don't think we're too far away from the guys at the front, but a long way to go.
Damien, obviously pushing hard, but it's hard to take time off people when everyone's beating the bogey times through stages.
Yeah, the third stage of the loop, we're all beating a bogey. We beat it by 6 seconds then, so it becomes a waste of time really, that stage. But stage 4, the first one of the loop, we had a big push and had 2 overshoots. I had to do a donut on one of the triangles, so we dropped a bit of time there. And then stage 5, the second stage, we had a puncture on the back left towards the end of the stage.
I suppose when you look at the timesheets though, you can put down any drop time to that. That aside, the car behaving itself, happy that on these next 6 runs you can go out there and push harder?
Yeah, now we've lowered the back a little bit and gone onto a harder tyre. It seems a lot more stable. So all we can do is keep pushing and see what happens by the end of the rally.
John, you can tell from the back of the car. Come on, what's happened?
Biggest moment I've ever had in this car. Completely off the road one side, through a cattle grid completely sideways, and then back off the road. I mean, now we're still here, I'll never know. That was on the first stage of that loop, which is stage 4. But I just heard Ashley's actually gone off on the next one. You know, the problem is this pace is epic and these things are skipping about everywhere. I think that was probably me, you know, writing my winner's speech and just missed the corner a little bit. And then there's all gravel on the outside and then that's it. But to be honest with you, we should be cut in half, let alone bloody still in it. So the next 2 stages, I think we still beat the bogey on the last one. And it wasn't too terrible. I think we lost 10 or 12 to Simo on the stage with that. Well, the grass, well, it was coming over the bonnet, so that how we're still, you know, but we were going so fast, it actually went, way, you know, like that. Oh, there's a rock, way. So, but the boys have, there's bits of aluminium on me, there's metal on my plastic car. No.
Peter, it looks to be one of the few cars that doesn't have some sort of damage, some sort of repairs going on with it.
Yeah, we've only lost a wing mirror so far. Yeah.
Getting away easy then.
Yeah, to the end of the first stage of the second loop and Riverside, the short stage, where we had a tyre delaminate, so we've dropped a bit of time. On the last stage, we were quicker again, but it didn't show, so because we beat the bogey.
I suppose everyone seems to be having that problem though. That time just seems to be quite beatable for a lot of people.
Yeah, the chicanes were tighter, but we were like 10 seconds quicker than our first run through, and we're only 2 off it on the first run, so that's just what happens. These next stages are tighter, and that's where we go better, when it's tighter and more technical.
Robert, 3 more stages you've had to get used to the car in tarmac spec. How are you finding it?
Yeah, very good. It's just a matter of trying to get used to the level of grip that the car has, and the brakes are phenomenal. So it's been a year since we drove on tarmac, so we're just getting used to the brakes and the speed. Our second passes over the stage have been quite considerably quicker than the first pass, just with the single pass on the recce. But no, we're quite happy with what we have, where we are.
Today, very much a learning curve, bringing the car home in one piece?
Yeah, we only got the car finished yesterday morning, so just a matter of getting it in, getting bedded into, getting used, because we're going to Germany next week. So, but no, we're going to have a bit of a push now. We're more comfortable with the car. Each time each stage we get to, we're getting a little bit braver and a little bit quicker. But no, we're just going to try and build on the confidence all day.
I suppose the positive is that, considering you're bedding the car in, the pace is there.
Yeah, I suppose the ultimate pace isn't there at the moment, but we know exactly where our time is. I'd be a bit concerned if I didn't know exactly where the time was to the lads in front. But no, it's just a matter of bedding in the car and getting used to it ourselves, and hopefully trying to see how much we can close the gap to the top lads by the end of the day.
again, there wouldn't be any change in this loop of stages, and even the advantage would only creep up to just 16 seconds. But for Stephen Simpson and Patrick Walsh, it wouldn't be all plain sailing still. Further problems with the car may only be minor, but they would all add to the pressure at the top.
Steve was about to say it looks like you've had a clean run, but then I've seen the other side of the car.
Yeah, we've lost the brakes on that stage, sir, so they're just going to the floor. The pedal just going to the floor, so only at the end of that stage, but so we've got a bit of work to do now.
That just means you can go faster though, doesn't it?
I hope so.
For Damien Cole and James Morgan, it would be a step back up into second place. They put the pressure back on, but managed to stay out of trouble in this loop of stages to gain that lost time with the overshoots on the previous loop.
Damien, you had dropped behind Simon, but where we were watching, it looked like maximum attack from you.
Yeah, we just had a puncture earlier, so we dropped back on the road, but it's all becoming a bit pointless, really, because we're just beating the bogies on every stage in that loop.
It wouldn't, however, be plain sailing for Cole either, as there was no let-up from Simon Major and Brian Cammock in the escort. The pair keep the pressure on and finish stage 9 with an identical time to Cole, meaning a joint second place for the two crews going into service.
Simon, you were running as high as second and really mixing it with the four-wheel drive boys.
Yeah, we're trying our hardest. We can't really go much faster in this car, you know. We're on the limit really everywhere, and maybe beyond it in a couple of places. We're sort of there or thereabouts for second with Damien, but we're all beating the bogies on a regular basis now, it seems, so there's nothing to be gained, you know, by pushing that hard. So it's a bit of a difficult situation.
There wouldn't be any backing off for John Andrew and Peter James now either. The earlier damage to the car may be doing them a favour, as they were throwing caution to the wind on the stages and setting some good times, without having to worry about keeping the car looking its best.
John, around the chicane, yeah? Not straight through it?
I think straight through it is faster, and that's what the World Car boys do. And as my rear deck is now cattled, I've decided to take that approach. But I had to get all the hay out to stop a fire from developing. I think we've all just beaten the bogies, haven't we? I think the one taste that me and Simon didn't beat the bogey, he took 2 out of us. But we've had 3 or 4 out of him on the other bogies, so whatever.
After the problems last time out, it would be more of the same for Peter Taylor and Andrew Roughhead. Nothing major, but they do lose the front bumper in a small incident in stage. Despite this, they remain in that 5th place.
Peter, perhaps a slight jinx from us last time because the front end of the car's now missing.
Yeah, we lost it in the second stage of the loop, but I kind of wish I had bothered trying because we beat the bogey by 10 seconds, so yeah, it's just a bit of a nightmare.
Robert Barrable and Stuart Loudon are getting used to the car a little more now, and they start to close the gaps to the cars ahead a little more each stage. 23 seconds off the pace of Taylor still, but going well in 6th.
Robert, it seems like you've really got into the car now and you're setting some good times.
Yeah, we're happy enough. The second, we'll hopefully try and improve our time over the second pass, but no, we're just getting comfortable with the car now and learning its capabilities, and just, no, we're happy enough. We're kind of at a comfortable pace now. We've closed the gap to the lads ahead, which is more important.
No change for Simon Chapman and Michael Calvert in the Metro, as they still show their pace on these stages. The gap to Barrable was just over a minute now, but they were certainly doing a good job of heading up the rest of the field at this stage.
Simon, we were out on the stages, and not only is it the best looking car out there and the best sounding, but it looks like one of the quicker ones as well.
Yeah, we're trying to press on where we can, you know, and trying to sort of have a little battle with Washington. He's doing in some good times, and we're just trying to see if we can get a bit back off him, you know. But yeah, we're pushing on where we can. It's good fun.
There also wouldn't be any change for Washington James and Paul Hughes in this loop either, although they do lose a little time to Chapman ahead and drop down to hold 8th place, as opposed to the joint place they held on the last loop. 14 seconds the difference now.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a moment on the last stage. We went off, about 100 yards off the road, luckily there's nothing there. We drove straight back on the road. So I was very lucky.
Adrian Spencer and Mark Hewitt hold their good pace through another 3 stages to remain in 9th place. The pair enjoy these stages and go well, and the times reflected that this weekend. We see Alex Laffey and Jack Martin gain a place in these stages now as they move the Fiesta S2000 up into 10th place. They lie just 37 seconds behind Spencer, but more significantly, they only hold an 11-second advantage in that 10th place.
Alex once again pushing the Fiesta hard.
Yeah, I've got to try really hard because our car tops out at 112, so we're on the limiter through lots of the stages, trying to keep the speed up, because otherwise we're just going to lose loads and loads of time to everyone else. So it's all about keeping it as fast as possible.
There would be a few unfortunate crews in this loop of stages, the first of which would be Mark Borthwick and Phil Boyle. The pair are forced to retire when the car gives up in the afternoon stages. And we also lose Richard Felgate and Mark Mason when the prop shaft on the BMW fails in the stage. The pair had been up as far as 14th at this stage and could have been on for a top 10 finish if things had gone to plan. Once again, there wouldn't be any change in the classes as Chris Rice and Giles Dykes continue to lead the way in N4, with Julian Barnett and Andrew Smith still looking comfortable in that 2nd place. Howard Moore and Sasha Herriott maintain their B9 class lead with a good advantage. But once again, the advantage wasn't growing as Simon Stewart and Doug Levy keep up with the Lotus pair, just unfortunately unable to make up any time. And no change for our sole Class B10 runners, Craig Josie and Nigel Hewitt, as they keep going in that class. 9 stages down and the results are shaping up like this. Stage 10 wouldn't see a lot of changes in the results, with the times so similar on the stages it was going to be lost this weekend rather than won. But for Stephen Simpson and Patrick Walsh, they would have the advantage. Still 16 seconds and still looking good for that win. The frustration of the bogey times being beaten wasn't helping the fight for Damien Cole and James Morgan, who remain in that 2nd place and unable to gain any time on the lead pair.
Times left 4 in 60. Long flat crest 150. Right 1 opens over crest, don't cut 80. Flat left over jump past rocks and the flat right cut over grass 60. Flat left over crest 270. Turn right 5 through grid posts on exit 80. Flat left over crest and long flat left 430. Chicane and a right 4 bales.
And the same problem would be there for Simon Major and Brian Cammock. The pair remain in that joint place with Cole on this stage, unable to make any time on them and change that position.
Over dipped and crest 4 right into 6 left through dip and 1 left over jumps 80. Crest jump over grid 100 past junction, turn hairpin right into turn square left over bump and posts 170. Crest, flat crest long 200. Go on. 2 right over small crest 80.
For John Hendry and Peter James, it would be fourth still. The pair remain fast and consistent, avoiding any major dramas this afternoon.
Flat crest, 60 flat over grid, 200, grid 4 right, 200, 6 left, don't cut, and open 5 right, very long flat 2 left, grid 80, 3 left, bollards, keep right, over crest, 400 down.
The lack of front bumper didn't seem to be causing any problems for Peter Taylor and Andrew Roughhead, just cosmetic damage to the car, and the pair managed to hold on to that 5th place. For Robert Barrable and Stuart Loudon, it would be bogey beating, the same as everyone else, and as a result their times wouldn't help them gain any places at this stage. They remain in 6th place. Simon Chapman and Michael Calvert are unable to make any advance on the leaders. They remain just over a minute and a half behind Barrable in 7th place. And Washington James and Paul Hughes end stage 10 still in 8th, second of the Darien Crews at this stage still though. For Adrian Spencer and Mark Hewitt there would be some change, not to their 9th place but to the advantage. They now lie 36 seconds behind the Darien ahead, a 9-second difference from the last stage, which means also that Alex Laffey and Jack Morton gain a little on Spencer, closing the gap to 31 seconds now, and the fight would be on for the remaining 2 stages. Unfortunately, we lose Chris Anderson and Chris Thurling in stage 10 as the car cries no more and stops in the stage. This means it's a chance for Tim Daltrey and Emma Morrison to move up and take the Class B11 lead at this stage. Just 2 more stages remaining, and here's a reminder of the leaderboard. So on to the finish then, and it would seem no change for the class battles as Julian Barnett and Andrew Smith come out of the N4 battle in 2nd place. Meaning it's a class win for Chris Rice and Giles Dykes, a good run after the disappointing non-finish at the previous round. In Class B9, Simon Stewart and Doug Levy managed to gain a small amount of time back on the class lead, but not enough. So it's a class win for Howard Moore and Sasha Herriott, over 2 minutes the advantage at the end of the event. Craig Josie and Nigel Hewitt do what they had to and get the car home in one piece for their class win. In the overall results, we would see a big shake-up as we lose event leaders Stephen Simpson and Patrick Walsh in the final stages when the wheel comes off the Impreza WRC midway through the stage. So with the drama, it's a move up a few places for Chris Marshall and Simon Hunter. It sees them step up to round off our top 10 in the final stages. Tim Daltrey and Emma Morrison gained the class lead in the final stages and also move up into 9th place overall at the end of the event. For Alex Laffey and Jack Morton, it's some good championship points to add to the score sheet as they finish in 8th place. Unfortunately, it's a disappointing end for Simon Chapman and Michael Calvert as they retire close to the end of the event after being up in 7th place most of the day. But that's a good thing for Adrian Spencer and Mark Hewitt as they move up to take that place and end their day with a well-earned 7th overall.
To 80, to crest and jump by Griff, and then 100 past the junction, which then goes turn acute right, turn square.
For Washington James and Paul Hughes, it would be third of the two-wheel drive crews and runner-up in the Darien battle as they take 6th place overall at the end of the event. A good debut of the car on asphalt for Robert Barble and Stuart Loudon as they end the event in 5th place. A good test for the pair as they get to grips with what the car is capable of. And it's a good finish too for Peter Taylor and Andrew Roughhead. Problems throughout the day didn't seem to faze the pair as they take a well-deserved 4th place. After being up in 2nd place for some of the day, it would have to be 3rd for Simon Major and Brian Cammock, a place they held for many of the stages, and certainly a good result to add to the championship points for the escort pair.
To turn square right over grid. 60. Two left, 80. Flat left, 430.
But with a great drive on the final 2 stages, it would be a jump up into 2nd for John Indry and Peter James. The results were coming together now for the Darien team, and 2nd place gives them a leg up the points table after round 5.
500. Come on! Yeah. Crest at posts. 3 left, 4 right. 3 left, 4 right. Flat 2 left, 150 chicane. Oh, it's nearly flat. 200. Big crest and jump, keep left. 300. Flat right. Flat right. Well done. Nice one. Good job.
But for Damien Cohn and James Morgan, it would be win number 3 at the Tyneside, and more importantly, win number 1 in this season's championship. The championship season getting back on track a little now, with 4 rounds remaining. So at the end of a difficult event, here's a reminder of the top of the results.
Damien, congratulations, you've made it 3 out of 3.
Yeah, very hard day today. It's the first time I've ever won a rally 3 years in a row. It's a shame to see Steve go out the way he did earlier, but we had some bad luck on the Jim Clark and he's had some today, so I suppose it evens out over the championship. But it was a very hard day today, very fast stages.
You were quick, but also the motto to finish first you've got to finish springs to mind.
Yeah, we went into the last 2 stages with a 13-second lead and won the rally by 2 seconds, so it was a bit of a calculated drive on the last 2, but we couldn't go a lot quicker really. It was very, very fast.
Now, this puts you in an interesting championship position because we know you've still got some of your favourite rounds to come and you haven't dropped a score yet. Are you starting to think through that in your mind yet so that you can really push on for the championship?
Yeah, we're not going to do Kai Went, so we're going to try our best to win the Mueller, and then if we can have 2 wins, and then it'll go down to Wexford and back up here in the Cheviot.
John, 2nd overall, but a bit of a case of what might have been.
Yeah, listen, I'm happy to be here. Basically, we had a massive moment. It's going to hopefully be on the Inco, although it probably won't look like much, but we've gone off the road one side, off the road the other, through a grid, 45 degrees. Another day, man, that's one of those. But I lost my mojo a bit, and the weather up here, it never really rained, but it looked like it did. So for most of the day, I was putting on soft tyres, and of course it never rained. A couple of times it tried to. So the last 2 stages, I decided to take a novel approach and put the right tyres on like Simon does. And we've given it a go. To be honest, I've got to go to the hospital now with me back. I think I'm about 2 inches shorter. But hey ho, this was a legal number plate if anyone was interested, honest. but that's gone. So my little baby has got some scars and scratches on it. But hey ho, whatever, you know. And I think we lost by 2 seconds. Someone else is, you know, whatever. He's gone off. He's in a half, but I'll get his champagne, so everybody's happy, you know. So
Simon, you can be pleased with your performance, but at the same time, you were so close. I think you were joint leading the rally at one stage, and it's just been one of them days to a certain extent.
Yeah, I guess, you know, if you had given us that result at the beginning of the event, we'd have been happy. I was really disappointed after the A&C. Just felt I was generally off the pace, you know. There's nothing really wrong with the car, and Brian was doing the job. The notes were good, but I was just a bit down on par, really. So we're sort of like looking forward to trying to get the pace back to where it should be, and we were quite pleased with it. And like I say, any other day I'd have been happy. But along come this yellow bathtub thing and pipped us for the two-wheel drive award. So we're a bit disappointed to lose a two-wheel drive crown, you know. But if it had to go to anyone, John's not a better boy to get it. He's been knocking on the door for a long time now, and I have to say, well deserved. You know, the last couple of stages we really had no answer for him there. So fair play to him.
And while Simon may have come third, Brian, it's a win for you today.
Yeah, lucky boy really, because some of the others don't bother to register for the championship. It's been an interesting day, and all I can say is we put everything into it and did our best, and we've enjoyed the event. Shame about 1 or 2 of the hold-ups, but that's rallying sometimes. But yeah, it's been a good day, enjoyable.
So Damien Cole walks away with his 3rd win in 3 years here on the Tyneside stages. He'll be out next time on the Mueller, looking to push hard as his championship challenge continues. John Hindry is delighted with the performance of the Darien. He'll be a contender on Mueller, but the championship's wide open. We know you want to know where it goes. Join us again on Special Stage.
Keep going. Well done. Well held.